welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to review this Faxon Firearms 300 Blackout barrel. Now, to give you a little bit of background on this, this is my first Faxon barrel. I heard a lot of good things about them, so I figured I'd go ahead and give one a try. Me and the guys at work been kind of going back and forth talking about 300 Blackout, and a couple of the guys there have them, but they're all pistol length barrels. So I decided I was going to do a rifle length barrel. So later we'll probably compare those, but for today we're just going to go ahead and give this 16-inch a review, see what it does for some accuracy, throw the can on it, see what type of sound we get out of it. Hopefully when I slap this thing together it all functions. This one does have a carbine length gas system, 1 1/8 twist barrel. It's got the 5/8 by 24 thread on the end of it. So let's get this thing put together and see what she'll do. Let me give you a little breakdown on what we're using for parts on this build. Went ahead, got the Faxon bolt carrier group to go with the Faxon barrel. A standard Aero Precision upper, got a like CMMG dust cover and gas tube in there. Going to use the Aero Precision 15-inch quantum forearm on it. Going to use my Omega 300, Aero breacher charging handle, Aero adjustable gas block. So I'm going to try out that upper on this lower. This is my CMMG lower off of my 350 Legend. It's got a standard power spring in it and a standard buffer tube weight in it. Some other people have said with a 16-inch barrel and carbine length gas system that we're probably going to have to go to a reduced power spring in it, so I took the one out of the 6 arc. We'll give this one a try first, see if maybe it turns out. Hopefully we get lucky, but we'll bring this one out just in case too. See what makes it run best. Well, there it is. I'm going to try it first with no suppressor on it. Just going to use some of this Fiocchi 150 grain stuff just to break it in, function test it. We'll do it with no suppressor on first. Dump 5 rounds through it here. Looks like it loaded. Oh, jammed. Failure to extract all the way. Same thing. Back inside, back to the drawing board. Well, taking a look through my bore scope here, I can see that hole is just a little bit to the side. I think it's covered up. When I tightened that down last time, I must have tweaked it a little bit. Let me try to do it here. There. That looks like it's set. Twist. There we go. That looks like it's lined up better. So I'd noticed that the gas block wasn't in line with the top of that, so I went back inside, checked with the bore scope. Sure enough, it was off a little bit, so I straightened it back out. But put the suppressor on it, and let's give it a try again here with standard spring. The Subsonic rounds. Well, that's running. Didn't lock back though. Only had 3 in there. That gas block is wide open. Well, now here's 3 of the Subsonics. Let's see if these will run. Nope. Not quite enough gas. Well, same thing. Alright, let's change over to the other power spring, the lighter one. So here's the reduced power spring and Supersonics. Yep. Still didn't quite lock that back. Now we're going to try it with the reduced power spring and no suppressor on. Yep, I went all the way home. Didn't pick up around. Didn't pick up around. Yep, we're getting failure to get back far enough to pick up that round. Yep, won't lock open without that suppressor on there. I shouldn't say it won't get the bolt back far enough to pick up the next round without the suppressor on it. So here's the Subsonics with the reduced power spring. Still not enough. Go all the way home. All right. That one did. Nope. Still not running it. Ain't got enough gas to do the subs. Might just as well back her up and take a run at the new plate rack. Actually locked it back that time. Since it's running with the suppressor on but not off, it's telling me that we don't have enough gas. And when we look at this here, you can see that there's the hole in the barrel and then the hole in the gas block. The gas block hole is substantially smaller than the hole that's in the barrel. Faxon knew that on a 16-inch barrel with the carbine length it needed to be larger, but I didn't think about that Aero Precision, that the hole in that is too small. So I'm going to need to get a new gas block to make this thing run. So there are the gas ports. The one in the barrel is definitely larger than the one in the gas block. The gas block, if you notice right here, is definitely leaking a bunch of gas through that adjustment too. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shelf this Aero Precision one. Just throw that in the parts bin. End up getting a Faxon one. That way it'll match up. See if we can't make this thing run. Here we are back at my bench again a couple days later with the Blackout, and now in the mail I finally got a new Faxon gas block to replace the Aero Precision that I had on there, the adjustable one. Comparing these two gas blocks, you can see that this one here is definitely smaller in that gas port than the Faxon size, so hopefully that'll help get us some more gas going through there and get that thing to cycle. Kind of hard to hold them here in the light just right, but that one is substantially larger on this Faxon gas block. So hopefully with this new one it'll be a whole lot more efficient and get it to go through the gas block instead of out underneath there. Got the new gas block on there, all torqued down. I don't have a dimpling tool, so I didn't do that, but I just torqued those 3 screws down, and realistically with 3 screws you would hope that that wouldn't move on there. The other thing that I kind of want to show you here with this Faxon bolt carrier group is your back end right there. I noticed that on the end of this you can see that little bit of a denting that's in here. This thing was perfectly fine when I put it in that gun. I'd had it running inside my arc and no issues with it, but within a few rounds it started denting that. What that is right here on the back of the bolt. We'll see if we can get it here in the light. You can see that shiny spot, and that is puckered out just a little bit. If we can, yeah, right there in the light, you can see that little shiny spot in there. That's sticking out. Now, most people that probably wouldn't bother, but I don't like the idea of that hammering on that weight in there and possibly causing metal fragments going into my action. So all you need to do is take a stone and just shave that off. Yeah, you're going to take a little bit of the finish off, but realistically, who cares? I mean, you're going to have the thing covered in oil and everything. I mean, if you want, you can put a little bit of quick blue on there or something to cover up the bare steel. But I'd rather finish that up and just not have that be denting on my weight like that. Since this thing is gonna have to have a lower power spring in it to make it function, I had an extra lower sitting around I was gonna use to build an 18-inch DMR rifle, but instead I decided to put it together for this 300 Blackout, and this will have to be the designated lower for it. So again, building a whole nother rifle, whatever. I had one more of the pile. So I dropped the Timney trigger in it and UBR buttstock. We'll see if I need to change out the buffer tube weight to make it run or not. So I guess next step, let's take this thing out and see what it'll do now. So we're back out here on the range again. Now with the Faxon gas block on there, we're going to shoot it without the suppressor the first go around. Shooting the Fiocchi 150 grainer Supersonics. Didn't lock back the bolt, but cycled all of them. Now let's try it with the suppressor on. Locked it back that time. Now let's try some 208 AMAX Subsonics. It's ejecting them at least, but it's pretty much a single shot. So better, but it's not reliable yet. So for this accuracy testing part, we're going to shoot some 150 grain full metals, just some cheapo stuff. Try out some 150 grain deer seasons. And then the 110 VMAX. For subsonic stuff, got some 220 open tips. And then the 208 AMAX. Pretty much bought one box of everything that they had at the store. I took the red dot off and stole this Mark V off of the national match again, so we could do some accuracy testing. First up, we're going to use a Target Max, just 150 grain full metal jacket, just kind of some plinking ammo here at 100 yards. Let's see what this will do for accuracy. Well, yeah, I guess that's not too bad for just some cheap plinking ammo. Shoot one more group with it. Alright, let's put another 5 rounds downrange. Almost a little bit of a flyer. Alright. Let's go down and take a look. Alright. So there's the first group. Got 3 of them pretty nice in here, but 2 of them a little bit low. If we had the chronograph on there, maybe we'd probably see some difference in some velocity on those, I would bet. Here's the second group. 2 here and 2 here. I know I pulled that one a little bit, but that one there, that was definitely an outlier from the group. But for cheap ammo like that, that's kind of what I expected for some accuracy. Next up, we got the 150 grainers. See what they'll do. This wind's picking up just a bit, but we'll send them anyway. These 3 are looking pretty good. So I loaded up 5 rounds in there. Probably shoot 2 more groups here. That's not really too bad looking. Next up are the 110 VMAXs. Let's see what they'll do. Wind to die down. There we go. Yeah, them are grouping pretty tight, minus that very first one. Yep, I think it's safe to say it likes these 110s. Alright, let's shoot the next group of 110s. pitch that one a little bit. That group wasn't nearly as good. Shoot the third group here. I don't mind that one, that held together pretty good. Let's go down and take a look at both of them. Okay, so these top ones here, those are the 150 grain deer seasons. I mean, pretty acceptable for a deer hunting around out of a 300 Blackout. Now these here, this is one group here. The second group, that one there kind of got away from it a little bit. And then the third group, I mean, realistically, other than that one getting outside, that's not too shabby. That gun does like those VMAXs fairly well. I just got done cleaning the barrel. Went ahead, threw the magneto speed on here. Now I'm going to go ahead and shoot the 2 Subsonic rounds through it. I'll start with the UMCs here. I'm going to put the first couple on a steel plate because I'm assuming these are going to be way lower than the others, so I'll adjust it a little bit and then we'll put a few on paper. But I figured I might just as well get the first few of them some velocities and see with this 16-inch barrel, see if they are still going subsonic or not. Alright, put one on the IPSC. Oh yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 3.4 mils low. We'll have to dial up on that. Let's see, we're at 6. 1, 2, 3. Try that. See if it cycled that round or not on this. Yep, right on. Excellent. And it did cycle around. Should have one more in there. Yep, about right. What do we got for velocity? Oh, averaging 1,043 feet per second between them 3 shots. And it did not lock back the bolt. I'm going to send the first 5 down there on paper. Ooh, right where we were aiming. Well, a couple of them weren't too bad. I think the one I pulled a little bit, but not that bad. And one was a little bit lower. Did lock the bolt back that time. Alright, let's go ahead and shoot the second group. bolt back? No, it didn't. The last group of these 220s will only be 4 rounds because that's all we got left. Didn't quite get back far enough. Alright, the last one didn't quite get chambered. Alright. Nothing real great there. We're going to do the 208 AMAXs. Unfortunately, these really don't cycle through my gun very well, but we're going to go ahead and see what they do for some speed on the chronograph here, or should I say the magneto speed. Put in a lighter buffer weight, hoping that that might help, but doesn't seem to. Yep. That was 1,065 feet per second. 1,082. That group is pretty wide. 1,093. 1,063. 1,071. Is that it? One more in there. 1,096. There we go. That's all. Let's try shooting a group here on paper. That one. Got jam in there. It's safe to say that this gun does not like those. Yeah, the 3 of those look somewhat together, the other ones do not. Alright, let's send another group of these down there on paper. That it? Yeah, that's it. We'll go ahead and walk down here, take a look at our groups that we just shot. The 208 seemed to burn a little bit dirtier, and in the beginning they were at least flicking them out of the chamber, getting them ejected. Now they're not even want to get them fully extracted out of there, so I think it's getting kind of dirty again. But we'll go down, take a look at the couple groups we shot, see what it looks like. Okay, so here's what we got. First, the 220s. There's the first group. And then the second group. You got 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That's 2 bullet holes, but it's one with a 208 group and one with a 220 there. Third group of 220s. And then that group of 208s, that one was way low. And those 4 there. And then those 4 right there. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. So, not great. But at least the 220s, I mean, they showed some signs of doing all right. I might buy some more of those just because they actually cycle the action. So a quick recap on the accuracy. The Target Max 150 grain full metal jackets shot on average probably a little over 2 MOA at 100 yards, which I'm gonna end up probably buying more of this stuff just for plinking ammo, just blasting stuff up close. It did run through the gun real well. So the next one here, up here, the 150 grain Extreme Point Deer Season. Those shot, I mean, there's a flyer here and there, but for the most part, pretty close to MOA, just a little bit over it. I mean, I'm probably not going to shoot deer with it. You know, maybe I might shoot a coyote with it, something like that. I've got the 350 Legend, which I would probably use that over this in a hog hunting situation, but it did shoot fairly well. The next one here, the 110 grain VMAX. This thing actually held in there rather well. I think I kind of pulled that one a little bit, but this was just sight in. I did have to readjust these. These shot quite a bit higher over point of aim, point of impact than the rest of them, which I kind of figured it was a lot faster, but really, you know, maybe 1.25 inch MOA probably on average. I mean, those 4 there all touching kind of in a string. If a guy hand loaded that, you could probably really shrink that group up pretty good. Now the next one's here. The UMC Remington 220 grainers, Subsonics. Those shot probably about 2 MOA or so. But if you notice on here, if we zoom this in, if you look at every one of these impacts, when that's pressed down, they're all kicked out to the side one way or another on here. There, that one's kind of tough to tell. This one here, you can really see it when you push down on it off to the side. Same here and here. I think that these bullets are not stable going down range. Going into your 208s, those did not function the gun at all. It was virtually a single shot, but at least they are square when they hit. Again, doing about 2 MOA, maybe a little bit over. So this gun didn't do real well with that 1 1/8 twist with some of these Subsonics. So to wrap this video up, I'll give you my final thoughts on this thing. I mean, now that I've got almost 400 rounds of ammo through it, and luckily I found most of the brass back, so we can get to maybe doing a little bit of reloading for it. But overall, I think it performed pretty well at what its intended purpose would be of, you know, being a 16-inch gun. The fit and finish on the barrel itself was all pretty good. The feed ramps were nice and polished. There weren't any burrs or sharp edges on it to scar up your brass on the feeding side of it, or anything to make it catch as it's feeding. That part wasn't a problem. Looking at it through the bore scope, the chamber was fairly well polished. Inside the rifling, there was no chatter marks, machine marks, no nothing like that on the inside of it. And at the gas port, there was no burr on there. I've seen a few AR barrels that on the inside where they drill that through, they kind of leave that burr on there, but they took that off of there. I mean, nothing wrong with the threads. It was all straight. Luckily, we didn't have any baffle strikes, so that was all machined up well. I'll say the carbine length gas system in this does lead to a pretty smooth recoil impulse. I do kind of like that. That is also kind of the hindrance of it. It does a real good job of shooting anything that's a high velocity round. Accuracy was good on it. It functioned well with it, but it did struggle on a lot of the subsonic heavier stuff. With some reloading, maybe we could get it to work out of it, get something that's a little bit more reliable, but I would bet those 220s, this 1 1/8 twist, just isn't fast enough. I think those bullets are destabilizing. If we go much more than 100 yards, I think they're just gonna disperse out into space, and groups are really gonna fall apart. But maybe on that 208, I mean, they looked like they were still flying pretty straight. They just didn't have enough gas to make the thing run. I did even try some different buffer tube, or I should say some different buffer weights in there on this one. I mean, you can see on there that I even took all the weights out of it, tried to run it as light as possible, still wouldn't function the thing, so that part didn't work. I think the only way we could really make it cycle those better, other than just reloading, maybe lighter weight bolt carrier group, something like that. But I mean, this style of barrel, I mean, I would assume it's definitely geared towards guys that want to go hunting with it, just plinking with it, shooting out on the range. If you wanted a home defense style one, then yes, the shorter length with the pistol length gas system would probably, you know, outperform this with the subsonic stuff, some of the home defense stuff, all that. Maybe in the future, I might go ahead and SBR this thing, get a tax stamp, put like a 10 to 12 inch barrel on it, and then sink the suppressor down inside the forearm. You know, turn this into a home defense gun. But for now, I'm going to use this thing as a range plinker, and that's kind of why I chose this 16-inch barrel, is to, you know, simulate the same size as a fighting style 5.56 rifle, but up close with this caliber, you can shoot steel plates and not pock them all up. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it, you know, inside 10 yards for sure. I mean, you might get some sprawl, but realistically, you back up 20, 30 yards. I mean, this thing shoots steel just fine. It doesn't pock them up. You're not going to get bad sprawl back at you. It doesn't dent them out and divot them out. So that's kind of what I built this thing for, was shooting my steels at, you know, 30, 40 yards for practice, basically. Without, you know, having to pay for frangible ammunition for a 5.56, I can reload this for cheaper than that with just generic 150 grain full metal jackets. This gun turned out to be quite the little, I don't know, fun little side venture that I did completely on a whim. This was not really a planned thing, but me and some of the guys at work got to talking, and I just decided to build this thing, really. If you like today's video, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. If you got any questions about it, or if you've got any experience with shooting a 16-inch 300 Blackout, leave some comments below. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.